everybody, Rust Belt Perspective here. Today is March 5th, 2023, and today we are going to be talking about the importance of the Rust Belt region in the 2024 presidential election and also later on the 2024 Senate elections. As you can see, I have a map. This is my personal favorite map of the Rust Belt region here. You could probably see different maps of it if you've checked it out, but the map I like to use, you have a populated area of Iowa, you've got a lot of Illinois, especially the most populated areas, populated area of Wisconsin, a lot of Indiana, a lot of Michigan, almost all of Ohio, a lot of the populated parts of Pennsylvania, and a lot of the popular parts of New York. I'm not really worried about all these patches around the outside, although they are also working class places. And for those that don't know, the Rust Belt region is sort of like your working class area of the country. I myself am from this region and I'm a working class person myself, hence the name of this channel and the shape of my profile picture. But so yeah, we're going to be talking about how this is so important coming into the 2024 presidential election. So according to the map, these are all the states that are considered to be a part of the Rust Belt. That accounts to 129 electoral votes, and you will see why some of these 129 electoral votes are super important coming into 2024. So we'll also characterize any state that was won by over 5 points by either party as a safe state. Usually the safe criteria is 15, but for this exercise we're going to go with 5 because these other states are not the main focus of this video. So, of course, you got both Republicans and Democrats registering a lot of electoral votes by this method. I believe that's it for the Republicans. The Democrats, of course, have their share too, especially in the West and the New England territories as well. Or actually, Maine and Nebraska always get me. Shoot. And yeah, that's it for safe states for the Democrats or Republicans. So there's also all the states that were decided by within 5 points for either party that are also going to be very important coming into 2024. But you're going to see in a minute why the Rust Belt is that much more important than all of these 5 states in the Sun Belt. So, of course, within the Rust Belt, there already are strongholds for both parties. The Democrats, of course, have New York, the capital of liberalism. It's been a safe blue state for quite some time. Even in the biggest red elections, New York is always still substantially voting blue. A lot can be said about Illinois. They have very much been liberalized. Chicago, of course, has a big influence over the state politically. And ever since 1992, the state has been blue. Has been a big part of that blue wall for the Democrats. No reason that'll change in 2024. The Republicans, of course, have their share of electoral votes here too. Indiana is become a strong Republican state. Barack Obama barely cracked it in 2008 when the national mood was very bad against the Republicans, but since then it has been before and after, it's been a Republican state for sure. West Virginia, after Wyoming, in my opinion, is the second most red state in the nation. They voted for Trump by almost 40 points in 2020, despite his unpopularity. This is a Republican stronghold. In Ohio and Iowa, I will say are likely red states. Yes, they are competitive, but in recent election cycles, they have very much so shifted red, and almost all of the statewide officials in either of these states are Republican. So with that, we've got 3 states left in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. And if you guys remember, in 2016, these are the 3 states that Donald Trump crucially won in order to become president of the United States. Shocked a lot of people. Hillary Clinton was projected to win all of these states as a part of the blue wall. Donald Trump, with his big quiet appeal to the working class, did not let it happen. And then in 2020, guess what? President Biden, he crucially, with his appeal to the working class, was able to flip them all back, but he did not do so comfortably. Donald Trump came in force with his appeal to this region and almost won. Biden only won Wisconsin by 0.63 points. And then even in Pennsylvania and Michigan, Trump came out to large leads in these states before mail-in ballots started showing up. And Biden only won Pennsylvania by 1.2. He only won Michigan by 2.8. They were very competitive in 2020 despite Biden's resurgence for the Democrats in the states. And you're probably asking, what about all the other 5 states? Well, let me show you something. If the Democrats were able to win just Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, they have the 270 electoral votes they need to win the presidency. The Sun Belt wouldn't even matter. The Republicans could win all 5 of these states, and the Democrats would still be victorious. Whereas if you put all these states back to their competitive standpoint, let's say the Republicans are able to pull it off in these 3 states. Yes, they would not have enough, but at that point, if they're able to win these 3, you would have to imagine they could probably win the same states that they won back in 2020 in North Carolina and Florida, and that would be enough for them to win, the Republicans to win. So a lot of it all comes down to the Rust Belt region. And the thing is, if you want to check out some, polls here. Some of these polls are kind of old, but they're what we have to work with right now. On December 9th was the most recent Michigan poll. Biden is beating Trump by 4 points as of that time. But you got to remember, Hillary Clinton was projected to win Michigan per the polls coming into 2016, and guess what? Donald Trump took the state by storm, shocked the world. So by no means does this 4-point lead for Biden signal that he is going to win Michigan, or even comfortably, much less comfortably. And then, I know we're going back kind of late here, but the last time there was a Pennsylvania presidential poll, it was a tie. But you got to remember, around this time, this was just before the midterms, right? Newly elected Democratic Senator John Fetterman and his Republican challenger Mehmet Oz were also polling very closely around this time, and guess what? Senator Fetterman won by almost 5 points in Pennsylvania, the Democrat. So that kind of goes to show that truly at this time the Democrats had the upper hand in Pennsylvania. But again, Hillary Clinton also had the upper hand in Pennsylvania coming into 2016, and guess what? She lost it. Donald Trump won. Wisconsin, a lot of the same thing. Biden projected to win by 1 point, just like Hillary was projected to win the state in 2016. And this state was very close. Less than a point it was decided by in 2020 for Joe Biden. So with that, the winner of the 2024 presidential election very much lies in my home region of the Rust Belt. But it's not just the presidential election that I would like to talk about here. The Senate elections are also a big deal here, because these are my Senate predictions from my video I just uploaded just a couple days ago. But let's look at the Rust Belt competitive regions here. Not only do we have Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, West Virginia and Ohio are also a part of the Rust Belt, and they are competitive in 2024 for the Senate. That right there is 5 seats. That is potentially the majority of the Senate, because you think about it. If the Democrats on the presidential level win these 3 states, like I showed you, they would win the election, which would give them the tiebreaker. And then if the Democrats were to win all 5 of these states, which they all hold incumbents in right now, the Democrats would retain majority of the Senate, because they would have Kamala Harris, assuming she would be the vice president again, as the tiebreaker. But even if we want to say that the Republicans still do win Ohio and West Virginia, the Republicans can also say win these 3 states on the Senate level. That's the difference between them having 52 seats and 55 seats, which would be huge for them down the line. Because if you think about it, if they have a big year in 2026, they could be looking at a potential filibuster-proof majority. Whereas if they have a bad year in 2026, these seats right here would save them from losing a potential majority. So a lot of the future of, until like 2028, in many ways till 2030, 2030 are going to be hugely determined by the Rust Belt region in 2024. So, with that, that's pretty much all I have to say for this video. I think I've shown you why the Rust Belt region is so important here, and me being a Rust Belt blue-collar worker myself, I wanted to give you guys my perspective on that. I'm sure I'll have a lot more on this in the coming videos. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. This is Rust Belt Perspective, signing out.